Hey guys, it is September 29th, and UT would like for us to do a taste test on all the 5 snack tomatoes that we've been growing in our garden this year. We weren't expecting this one to be a snack one, or this one really, but they're small enough to be considered snack tomatoes. We have here the Wagner blue-green, the garden peach, the atomic grape, black cherry, and then this was a hybrid between, I'm sure, a cherry tomato and the garden peach. Came from seeds that we received when we received the garden peach seeds, so it was a surprise plant. We're actually calling it like the grapefruit cherry tomato because it's the color of a pink grapefruit, pretty close on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and give these 5 snack tomatoes a taste test and see which ones we like most. We're going to go ahead and start with the garden peach.
There's quite a bit to be said about this tomato. It's super, super unique. Out of these 5 kinds, this one right here was just a cross that was random with the garden peach. This one's the Wagner blue-green. It's going to go in our yard next year. The atomic grape we really like, but it's not going to go in our yard next year, and we are going to grow some of these, but probably not in our yard. So black cherry, grapefruit cherry, Wagner blue-green, atomic grape, and garden peach. This skin on this is really, really cool. For this tomato, I couldn't necessarily recommend growing it for a lot of people because it is kind of a little bit of a fickle plant, and then it's not really like a big time producer of tomatoes, but it's really just a bizarre tomato. Every other tomato I've seen has a glossy, kind of shiny outer coating. This is actually like soft skin. You could almost peel it like you would a peach. So, I mean, it's called the garden peach. It is a tomato. It does usually have a muted flavor.
It has fur, like peach fuzz on it.
This is the one that I'm choosing to most likely go in our yard next year. But I had to say something about that one. That's just a really unique tomato. I think everybody should give it a chance to grow it if you have a spot for a small plant somewhere.
This is what the inside looks like. It is unique in a lot of ways. It's fuzzy like a peach. It is good. It doesn't have a lot of flavor though. It's very, very mild in the flavor department. But it's not too bad actually. I mean, it's a good snacking tomato.
It is mild. Sometimes when I eat a tomato, I don't want the tang. I think that's why I tend to like them a little bit underripe. It's not really underripe to the point where I'm going to poop my pants if I eat one without cooking it off, but it's more firm ripe. It's just hitting that where it's cresting the ripe point. This tomato right here, the atomic grape, it may have been this one that tasted like grapes last year, but that's the next one we're going to give a try. It looks like we are currently having battery problems, so there'll probably be a weird cut here, and we'll try to get this done a little bit faster. But I like these ones a little bit underripe. They taste more like grapes or plums than they do tomatoes when they're a little under. But this is the atomic grape. When ripe like that, when it's more ripe like that, it tastes a lot more typical tomato flavor. It's got a strong, really good flavor though.
So the garden peach it's a decent snacking tomato if you just want something to snack on. You can pull it off the vine and snack on it. It's small enough. And it's not super juicy, so you won't make a mess if you just bite into it and snack on it. Next up will be the atomic grape. And this is what it looks like on the inside. It's got like a green color to it on the inside as well.
I don't know, I like that flavor a little bit better than I liked the garden peach flavor.
It is very sweet.
The
Almost
garden
like
peach is just so unique compared.
the atomic grape is almost like eating a fruit more than a tomato. It's very, very sweet. It doesn't have very much. I don't even know if I really tasted any acid in it whatsoever on this one. But it's very sweet, like a fruit, and it's a really good snacking tomato. You're not going to get the acid gut from snacking on too many of them. It's a nice sweet tomato.
And we have 2 of these black cherries that we're growing. This light doesn't quite show what they actually look like. Unless
They're
I get it
very
just
similar
right,
to
but-
the Cherokee purple coloring.
Dang, that is just such a good tomato. It does have that pucker pop, but
Yes, it does. But it's an amazing tomato. I love the black cherries.
I don't know. That's the best tasting of the 3.
Yes, it is. Tons of flavor. Tons and tons of flavor packed in that little teeny cherry tomato, and it's so good. I am going to fight to grow that one again next year because I love it.
You don't have to fight, sweetheart.
And then this is our surprise cherry tomato. Well, since we only have one, I'm going to cut it in half so we can both taste it. It tastes not as much flavor, but
It had a
almost tastes,
weird texture to it, too.
it almost tastes in between the garden peach and a cherry tomato. Like the flavor is muted on it. It doesn't pack a lot of flavor in that one, but
That was really disappointing because we've had some of those already and they weren't too bad. But that
I
one to
think-
me was highly disappointing, that cross.
I think eating the black cherry before it.
Yeah.
The black cherry is an amazing cherry tomato, and I would recommend growing it. It is just very good, very amazing. It packs so much flavor, and I love snacking on them. I can just eat a whole bunch of those. Last up, the Wagner blue-green. Yellow, it's got the dark shoulders. In fact, a lot of our tomatoes out there are starting out, they'll start out with a little bit of green, but then they turn all purple, like this really pretty lavender purple. And then when they start to ripen, they stay darker on the shoulders and turn yellow on the outside. But on the inside, they're really pretty blue-green.
This has quickly probably become our favorite snacking tomato. I pull a lot for that garden peach one just because of its weird, unique skin, and I've never seen a tomato that's kind of grown like that garden peach. But this Wagner blue-green, Kiddo kind of picked it out as a green tomato this year. And since he doesn't like tomatoes, we've gotten to eating them. But as far as a little medium-sized snacking tomato,
Yeah, and they all turn out pretty small like this. We've had a couple that are a little bit bigger, but they're small enough to be a snacking tomato.
we do grow in containers as well. So a lot of what you'll see with our plants and, you know, our tomatoes and things like that is stuff may tend to be smaller. The plants may seem to grow a little bit different patterns. It's a lot different in containers than it is being able to go on the ground and letting the plant really reach out. So we do a lot of micromanaging.
This is a really good snacking tomato. It's sweet and also low on the acids. But I would say out of the 5 snacking tomatoes we've tried in this video, the black cherry is my favorite, my overall favorite. It has the best flavor. It's just an amazing tomato.
All right, so we had the weird grapefruit mini cross. We had the black cherry. We had the Wagner blue-green. We had the garden peach, and we had the atomic grape. The Wagner blue-green, it keeps well on the counter for a long time.
Yes.
Even when it's ripe out on the vine, you put this on the counter, and a couple weeks later, it's still firm and
yep.
usable. So as far as a snacking tomato that's really, out of all the plants, it grew the strongest plant too
And we've
for
gotten
us.
the most. This is produced very well for us. This and the black cherry have produced very well for us. We've gotten tons of tomatoes off of the plants, and for a counter life, the Wagner blue-green, I think, takes the reins on that. We've picked them before and let them set on the counter for a couple of weeks before we got to them, and they were still, as if we had just picked them off the vine, they were still firm and fresh and good. So they're a good table keeper. You know, they last a while. You know, if you
The
can.
garden peach lasted a little longer than we thought. Here's some more of
Yeah.
the garden peach here and the
Yeah.
Wagner blue greens. Those are two that the Wagner blue green's a definite keeper. The garden peach might be a wild card still. And the black cherry is going to be the secondary one we're keeping. So it goes Wagner blue green, the black cherry. We got a bunch of trussels out there that are still green. We're getting ready to hit a cold spell at the beginning of October. So we are definitely
Trying to push for them to ripen as quickly as possible. We've been picking a lot, like in the past couple days we've picked all of this, so that we can use them and get the other ones to try to ripen.
These are just some market tomatoes that we pulled together to oh my gosh, we've had 30 different varieties of tomato probably this year.
Yeah, and they're all very good in their own way. But for the snacking tomatoes, the black cherry is my overall favorite. And then I would have to say the Wagner blue green, and then the atomic grape would be next.
We were pretty much set on the Wagner and the peach, but I have to agree with Angel in that black cherry tomato, it was really just an excellent tasting tomato.
It's
so
amazing. Every time I've eaten it, I've just loved it. So
I'll take you guys outside. I know this is over 10 minutes already. I'll take you guys outside, show you the plants really quick. And Wagner blue green definitely going in the yard. Second runner up is black cherry, and third was garden peach. Fourth was atomic grape, and fifth was weird grapefruit looking mini cross cherry type. We love you guys. September 29th, 2018. See you in a second. September 29th, 2018 still. Just out here. We put the black cherry plant, the black cherry tomato plant out here at the very, very end. It has trussel after trussel. So the black cherry is one that's going to make it into our yard next year. The plant, just like most cherry tomato plants, are a little bit thin. We trim up the branch as much as we can to reduce splash and disease forming, but really productive plant, like most cherry tomatoes. Really excellent flavor. The best cherry tomato we've had would have to be this kind, or snacking tomato. Flavor on it is excellent. A little bit smoky, a little bit sweet, really strong. But that's the black cherry plant. The other plants are all the way down here at the end. Here's the atomic grape. It's kind of lucky it made it into the yard, because we weren't quite sure. We ended up getting seeds for it because Kiddo thought it was cool, but it is a very productive plant. As you can see, it hasn't been in the best situation. It's just right now being trellised on this bike and such. So yeah, really productive plant. The atomic grape, really sweet, flavorful tomato. Really productive as well. A good snacking tomato. This one probably won't make it into our yard next year, only because we don't have a lot of room, and this was a fallback. We'll have a fallback next year as well, which will probably be the garden peach. This is the garden peach as well. This plant's really wispy. It could be a situation. It kind of got laid on by the lucid gem plant that's right next to it, but regardless, it still has pushed through and produces quite a few tomatoes. I would say out of the 4 or 5 snacking tomatoes we're trying out, this one here is probably the weakest plant, but one of the most unique tomatoes. Really furry plant. So the garden peach, and then we have the hybrid that came through. We're pretty sure that the hybrid was simply a part of a cross between some kind of cherry tomato and the garden peach as well. As you can see, there is some fur on the smaller hybrid, the grapefruit one that we were talking about, but the garden peach, you can tell the difference right away. And this isn't a bad tomato, it's just not what we ordered. A cross sometimes will come through, especially if you order through private people off of eBay and some of those other forums that are more for the public. And then the one that's definitely probably our favorite out of all 5 snacking tomatoes, not quite for flavor, but really excellent on flavor. Keeps on the counter for a long time. Plants are typical of a medium or even a strong sized tomato plant. We did this one for kiddos. It came from some of the better seeds. Keeps on the counter for a really long time. Some really amazing colors. This one right here, also the Wagner blue-green is what we're looking at right now. So the Wagner blue-green plant, just a kind of tip, we trim up. We're not really afraid to go a couple feet up off of the soil. We kind of chase the plants upward as the leaves start to get dying out or a little bit low. We'll continue to trim to keep airflow going through the base of your plant. So if you're growing in containers and you do like we do and kind of fill up as you go, make sure you trim up the stem as you go. But the Wagner blue-green, absolutely gorgeous tomatoes come off of this one. Wagner blue-green, most resistant, really excellent flavor, really strong tomatoes. So I know this is already probably about 15 minutes long. We just wanted to show you our 5 snack tomatoes that we pulled out of our yard and show you the ones that are going to make it, and show you kind of how the plants did for us. Never a determiner. Growing in containers is a lot different, and the way we crowd things too can also give you some kind of growth issues and problems sometimes. But this is UT and Angel. We are putting out some lights for tonight, September 29th, 2018. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys watching our vids and hanging out with us. And we love you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.